Hello everyone, Misha here with Cypress Pillar Healing Arts, and today I get the honor of reviewing the Stolen Child Tarot. Now, this is kind of a neat story why I'm reviewing this, because a friend of mine got it and she loved it so much that she said, hey, the world really needs to know about this one. And I remember this particular deck from when the artist Monica L. Knighton first came out with the original major set that this whole deck kind of came from. So I'm really excited to share it with you all, and let's take a look. This is a really fantastic deck that is just an awesome success story. The artist Monica L. Knighton created first a limited edition run of the majors, and they were so popular that it inspired the artist to do the whole deck. And I think probably that was something that they were going for in the from the beginning, but they started with the majors and then over time just created the entire beautiful 78 card deck. And it is really neat that the artist was able to make that dream happen. So it's fantastic to get to see it complete. So it was the first printing of this deck was 2019, so it's been out for a bit, and if you want to get it, you can pick it up on the artist's Etsy. One of the things that's really lovely is that there is a QR code, so while there is not a book that is in the deck, you can scan the QR code and download a PDF or an EPUB or several different versions of the deck. You can also buy the deck's books separately for, I think it's like just around $8. You can have it printed, and you can get it that way if you really would like it. So the deck comes in a magnetic style box, which if you've watched any of my reviews, you know I love these guys because they look great on a shelf, and they're a little bit more, I find them to be a little bit more hardy than some of the tuck boxes. And this one's actually got a really good magnet, so it just pops right open. And the information that you'll need to get your booklet is in there. And then she sent along some stickers, which was really cool. The poem that inspired this is by Yeats, and it's a little piece of it is on the back. So it's the Stolen Child by William Butler Yeats. And come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Like, what a fantastic poem to kick off with. This deck does include a couple of additional pieces of art. They are quite lovely, so you can kind of get an idea of the artist's style. It's very whimsical, very beautiful, very organic, and there's all sorts of little details hidden in the cards, which is just fantastic. So let's take a look at them. Here's the back of the cards. The cards are, this is my favorite size of card because I have tiny hands and they fit well in my hands. The cards are, the background does have an image that's similar, so if you were just shuffling and not thinking about it, it probably wouldn't catch your eye enough for you to know which way is right side and which way is opposite. But there is a difference in graphics, so if you want to keep them straight up, you can, or if you want to reverse them, if you flip them over, you would know which is which is kind of nice. So let's take a look at the art. So we have the Fool, and one of the things about this deck, the artist says that there are no man-made, like it's all animals and then the children, which is pretty cool. So this is, I think, the only time you'll see just a fully human child, which is kind of fun, like kicking off with the energy of the Fool like that. Here is the Magician, and I love the joy and the fun. The energy of this card to me is just so like learning and really mastering all of the different suits. In this deck too, with the suits, we have Zephyrs for swords, we have Brine for cups, right? We have Oak for pentacles, and then we have Flame for wands. So this is super fun too because the suits have been adjusted to fit the theme as well. Here is the High Priestess. And one of the things that I wanted to say about the PDF booklet, I'm definitely, like I said, I mentioned that this was my friend's deck. Yes, I'm totally gonna buy a copy because this is spectacular. And I'll probably buy the book too because in it, the artist does an amazing job of giving you their insight, why they painted what they did. And so in this one, the artist explains that the creature on it is a chimera, and then the eggs were inspired by grackles. And there's so much detail in the artist's notes about why they picked what they did and why they chose the different animals, which is, for me, always fun to read. I love this one. I think this one is so sweet because you've got the two spirit children tucked in with the bats, and just love it so much. And it's just, this one in particular, when I saw this originally, it was one of my favorite cards because it just feels so sweet. You can really like feel that sweetness of love. I also appreciated the fact with this deck that the artist chose all different colors and shapes and appearances for the children. I mean, obviously, some of them are kind of animalistic, but I appreciated that the artist used different types of animals that we don't often see, like the pangolin here, as well as pretty interesting and lovely diversity in the human shapes as well. So we go from ones like this that are very fantastic, fantasy-based, to, like, there's another real fantasy-based one, to ones that are clearly people of color and all different types of gender, some of which are more gender neutral. I thought that was really unexpected and quite lovely. So we'll go through all the majors and I'll show you some of the minors. I love this world card, so gorgeous. So when we get to the minors, here's Zephyrs, so that's our swords. And one of the things that I look for when I'm looking into getting different decks is whether or not the minors are illustrated. I very much appreciate seeing different takes and illustrations on the ideas and the lessons in the minor cards. If they're not illustrated, that's okay. I still will love the deck, but I'm always really fascinated to see how different artists represent the minors. And this particular deck really has some neat takes on, so here's your 4 of swords, your 4 of zephyrs, really different, interesting takes on these cards. So super fun. And again, that would be in the PDF book. If you, the artist also includes not only their own take on why they use the different symbols, but they also do explain the card and its meaning in the context of their art, which is quite lovely. Here's that 10 of Zephyr, it's gorgeous. And then we do have the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So pretty much your typical court card setup, but with all different types of humans being represented. So I'll show you some of the cups. Cups are represented by brine. Lovely, I love the detail. It's just beautiful. The colors are really vibrant, but they're not kick you in the face, so I appreciate that. I think this is a really sweet, gentle deck. All different types of scenes happening, all different types of people and animal, and I really, really like that the zephyrs, the swords, are all birds and insects and air animals for the most part. The cups here, the brine, is mostly water animals. Yay, that's cool. I hadn't seen this card. I went through these really quickly and like, yay, alligators and crocodiles. That's awesome. Here we have the pentacles, so represented by oak. And these are mostly, oh, that's really cool. Okay, these are mostly land animals. This, I believe, is the thylacine, the Tasmanian wolf, sometimes it was called, that is considered to be extinct. So this artist really put some cool animals in here. I hadn't noticed that earlier. We have a chameleon, a mountain goat, badger. So fun. And some plants too. So yay, Plant Kingdom is also represented. There's a spiders and moths. So really, really neat with that. And mushrooms, so fun. And here's our court card for those. And then finally we come to the flames, which is our wands. And these are they're kind of all over the map. There's a lot of reptiles. You got a flamingo, you've got a stork and a crane, some hyenas, a wolf. So these are a narwhal. So this narwhal. So these are sort of all of the different animals, cobra, but they're all unique and they all have that fiery energy, which is quite lovely. So if you are looking for a deck that is really fantastical, is that a word? Probably not. If you're looking for a deck that is just lovely fantasy based and really gentle, but yet still has a pack a punch in some of the cards for sure. If we look at, let's go back to the Four of Swords really jumped out at me in that energy. So like this one in particular, right? So it's not like some decks where they're just so gentle that there's not a lot of shadow or roughness in it. Like there's definitely, each of these cards is telling a story. And I think that the artist did a great job of capturing the heart and the energy of each card. So if you're looking for a deck that's fantasy based, but does a great job of bringing the natural world in with the humans, but it's not hardcore humanity, this is a great deck. And I realized a little bit earlier I may have not finished saying much about the card. They are matte and they feel really good. This is the type of card where it has a little tiny bit of texture, so it feels really, really good in the hand. So again, this is the Stolen Child Tarot by Monica L. Knighton. It's an absolutely gorgeous deck, super fun fantasy deck, and one that is totally artist produced and artist made. So if you grab this one, you are supporting the artist, which is lovely as well.